Here we have a Razer Powercore E100 switch that I removed from the scooter. Now the switch works okay, but what doesn't happen is it should light up, and it's not lighting up. That was just my meter. So I want to find out if I can repair this switch, but before doing that I want to test the switch just to make sure it's working as expected. So I've got my connector up to my meter, which is, I'm just going to put it into continuity mode, like that. So now, that's the switch off. If I put it on, it beeps, so it's working okay. That's on these two contacts here, which are connected to the yellow leads in the scooter. If I put it onto here and try the switch, get nothing. Also, if I change this and put it onto that contact, I get nothing with the final contact. And that lead in the scooter goes to the charge port. So I think what I'm going to try is use a bit of credit card and see if I can prise this. There's no other way to get into the switch that I can see of. See if I can get this. Yeah, that's just lever that out a little bit. Yeah, that's it. Well, everything went flying there. Now we've got, looks like a rocker, a bit like you get in, you know, a heavy duty 240 volt switch. Well, actually this switch says on it 250 volts, 16 amps. So it is actually a main switch. So it looks very similar, but I don't know if you can see this. Look, there's corrosion on here on another contact, which evidently goes on to that contact there, which looks very corroded. So I'm wondering if I clean that up, will the switch now light up? What I'm thinking is, we can see, I don't know if you can see that in there, there's a little LED. So why don't I just try diode test and see if that will light out. So I've got my positive lead, I'm going to put it on there, on the spring, and I'm going to try on here, on that contact. Oh look, yeah, that's working now. Right, I've given that inside a little bit of a clean. I've given this, it's not perfect, but you know, I'll have to do. So let's now put this back together. Well, it's got to go this way because that contact goes onto this, onto here, onto the little bit there, so it's got to go in this way. I've already put the rocker in. So can I get it in? Might need the credit card. Can't get it in. Could be trickier than I thought. Nah, just use my hands. I had to do that off camera. And I just pushed it in. Fine. And it's slotted in. So now let's retest it and see if it's any better. The trouble is that there's something wrong with this contact. So I've got the lead attached to the bottom of the leg there, and when I touch that, there's nothing. I'll put some deoxit in it and let it sit, but still, nah, nothing. Oh, this is interesting. I've managed to extract this, which was sitting on top of the spring. That's probably difficult to see it in there. See, there's a spring there. This piece was wedged in there and is making the contact. So presumably this is a resistor, and we'll find its open circuit. So I'm just going to test it. Yeah, open circuit. Well, if we just assume we've got an ordinary diode in series, then we would have a characteristic like this, 0.7 volts. Here's the current, so it would be about 20 milliamps. So if we just assume these values, then we've got 250 volts, assuming the worst case scenario. We've got the LED, and we've got, oh, it's probably the other way around. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And the resistor. So the V equals IR, R equals V over I, which is approximately 250 divided by 20 milliamps. 12.5 kilo ohms. I've dispensed with the idea of using this little screw screwed into the spring. It works, but not for long, and then the spring will come out. So what I'm going to try, although this screw looks a lot bigger, is screw this screw into the holder, and probably can't see that. Screw the screw in instead of the spring arrangement, and see if that works instead. Alright, that's the screw in. Let me show you that. There's the screw in the holder, like that. Yeah, it's right down. But does it make electrical contact? That's the proof of the pudding. So, set the meter to continuity. See now. Oh yes, it does. So I'll just put the meter into diode mode. It also beeps. One side on here, the switch is on. Yep, that works. That's off. Yeah, that seems to work. Okay. Now make sure that the main contacts work as well as the LED coming on. So what I'm doing is the main contacts are not quite working, so I'm just filing down the screw a wee bit so that now we don't have that little spring. It's going to be slightly more critical to get the screw at the right length. Right, let's try that. So here I am at the scooter, and there's the resistor, and I just need to solder it into that black wire and put it all together. There we have the resistor soldered in, and now I just need to tidy it up, put the heat shrink over it. That's it. Now to put the scooter all back together and see if it works. I'm not going to show doing that because there's plenty of other videos show the scooter being assembled. So there we have it, the switch installed into the scooter. Ah, look at that, nice. Right, well now let's check, see if it still works. Put it on its side, put the throttle on. There you go, working fine.